We spent backstage time at CBGB's, the Peppermint Lounge, and yeah, I know it's New York City, but it's not for everyone, and it didn't seem right for me. For if I'd come to love it, I think I'd be dead right now. Their manager, Jim Giantonio, offered me a spot as an opening act for the Speedometers whenever my next band was ready. I was trying to use this opportunity to find an agent or a manager. So I started to work with the drummer, Pete Tiago.
Being an artist and being a bit of a actor, buffoon / clown, I thought it would be interesting, and Al conferred, that we could possibly do a costume type entrance. I was the only one that actually went through with the costume entrance. I dressed in a OR Scrubs pants and shirt. I had a mask, sort of like the cat from Prince that plays keyboard for them at one point. They used to put the OR mask on, the OR hat, and I played the whole set looking like a surgeon. And it kind of went over well. It was a little bit of, at that point, there wasn't a lot of dress up, if you will, for local bands. And there was a little shock and a little awe with that, and I thought it was cool. Al enjoyed it thoroughly, and we had a great set.
We played as a new wave rock group called The Flavors. Along with the cover of The Rumors' The Raid, we did my version of Wild World by Cat Stevens. My sister Antoinette married while in college to Michael Kahn, and I played my guitar at their wedding in December of 1981. I also played for my brother Richard's wedding to Marge Cordero in 1986. Always trying to pass along the feeling a song gave to me to other people I love. I selected the Beatles' I Will for Antoinette and Michael. Richard wanted me to play And I Love Her for Marge.
I think he worked this all out with Paul Morrow, recording this, taping everything, the music ahead of time, so he can sing and kind of play it all together. But I think it was just awesome having him up there doing this for us. And it definitely was something that me and Margie, and I think everyone always remembered on how Al played. But behind the scenes, not really knowing how him and Paul put it all together.
I was very lit at my sister's wedding.
Yeah, Antoinette's wedding, remember we all enjoyed it. It was awesome. And it was time for Al to play I Will by the Beatles. And, he was pretty smashed. and as he was playing the song, started to drift away from the microphone.
I just plugged the cassette player into the band's PA and didn't do as much drinking that time. I think I was starting to get older.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now
Brian Wood was
pronounced
working with Johnny
guilty.
Stevens in the Downtown Altoona Players in 1980. Brian had already had his band Guilty on the show and had seen the Bones Band in its heyday.
We did a lot of harder rock than I had been used to, but it worked kind of nicely. How Guilty started out, though, as a concept, is there had been a local band that he had followed, this bass player, a friend of mine, called Innocence. So we decided to call ourselves Guilty and went with that image. We tried doing stage concepts where, we'd be behind bars and that type of thing. That never really got off the ground, but that was essentially it. We wanted to be tougher than we really were.
Well, actually, yes. The amazing thing about the, having the bands lip sync, which is, of course we couldn't do it live. There was a band called Guilty, who they were a very good band, and the great thing about us was, I think the station that we worked for really didn't question or actually watch what we did. So they had a very good song. I can't remember the name of the song, but somewhere in the song, there's this. The line comes, "Bullshit." Did I just hear right? Not once. Oh, maybe they won't notice it. Twice. Bullshit! Wait a minute. I want to see this on next week, okay? If they bleep that out, I want to see it. Sure enough, it goes on the air next week. Bullshit! These people aren't watching what we're doing. What the fuck? Come on, we could be raping trout on the air. Come on, they wouldn't notice. So, there was some crazy things that went on with that. Filming the bands. Some band members actually had to fight with one another. But it was amazing just to watch these performers who on stage were terrific. You put a camera in front of them, they were retarded.
Neither of us were fantastic players, but by 1982 we were a solid writing team. You see, Brian thinks on a different, maybe higher level than most of the other musicians I knew at that time, and made writing songs together very interesting. We would invent a premise, develop a character to write songs around, and it would keep us busy 3 to 4 nights a week. We rehearsed our songs until we virtually killed them. We wrote Breaking My Heart in 20 minutes.
One thing I remember that was really cool is that Al and Brian started to hang around a lot more as a result of being around the Downtown Altoona Players. And these are two really awesome musicians. I mean, both guys with guitars that play rhythm, and either one of them, both of them. I mean, you put a microphone in front of them, and either Al or Brian, they'll blow you away with what they could do. They can just rip it up, voice-wise. These are two great singers, and kind of born to do rock and roll, as far as I was always concerned. And all of a sudden, they're hanging out more, and I come to find out these guys are becoming a songwriting team. That was really great, because at some level, I guess at some level I always thought, well, maybe these two guys wouldn't have gotten together without the downtown Altoona Players. And, you know, it always felt kind of good that I played the smallest little role in getting those guys to be creative together.
Well, I had always been a prolific writer on my own, would occasionally collaborate with people. In fact, I enjoyed collaborating with people. After Guilty broke up, my friend Johnny got me in touch with this guy he knew, Al DiGiacomo, of the Bones Band, because apparently the Bones Band was no longer active as well. And Al had this great basement studio, just a very conducive place for just opening up and throwing out ideas. Now, the thing about Al is he comes from a very different musical background than I did. I'm classically trained. I was a music minor in college. I know the technical aspects of writing music. Plus, I had come from being a folk singer. Al was more right down to the street level rock and roll. It became a nice interjuxtaposition of different musical styles that just came out easy for the two of us. I don't remember the specific moment where it began, but I do have recollections of as the song became a song rather than just fragments of ideas. The nice thing about working with you is sometimes I would take the lead in terms of this is the song I want to do. Sometimes you would take the lead. That was definitely one of yours. But it's great following someone when they get their teeth into something and they take you along for the ride. So while I don't remember a lot of the details, I do remember that it was a fun, productive time.
We branched out to find a drummer and a lead guitarist because neither Brian nor myself could remotely call ourselves guitar soloists. The tedious months ahead in the Flavors is everything you do not want in a band.
Trying to put a cohesive band together, I mean, you know, you're talking late 70s, early 80s, without the advent of social medias where you can actually pluck, you know, players from all over the tri-state to come down and play with you. You know, there was a couple of publications, Aquarian, and a few others, Want Ads and stuff like that, where you can actually find musicians that may have fit your bill. You do an audition and come down. But the difficulty of putting somebody together in a band situation was kind of tough. You know, there was a lot of trial and error. Al and I were together for the better part of a year, and in that time there were several players that came and went. There were some that, you know, stayed for a week or two, some that stayed for a tad longer, some that stayed for shorter. But the difficulty with putting a band together was that you needed to have people that were in the same room, if you will, the same headset that you had. And that was the toughest part, because I was always hell-bent on playing original music. We did play covers in order to make a few coins, but he was always originally thinking about music that we can create.
People who can't drive, unequal vibes, undefined motives and direction. The only thing we had was this vague opportunity to open for Robbie's band, and I chose this over hanging out and writing songs with Brian. Thinking that playing at Club Mod was as the opening act for the Speedometers would somehow satisfy the dream. To play 3 lousy songs that no one actually cared about, this was fast becoming not such a fun thing to do anymore. The next year was a reclusive year that made me try to revive the original songs Brian and I had written, but never found the band to arrange and record them. Rough songs, poor demos, things are not going good here. I'm jamming with Kenny Tapp on guitar and Dewey Ribistello on drums and just trying to find a spark. Recording very divergent interpretation of Beatles songs and Rolling Stones and Cat Stevens, and I was using difference for indifference sake.
I'm so tired, I haven't slept a wink. I'm so tired, my mind is on the ring. I wonder, should I get up and fix myself a drink? No, I'm so tired, I don't know what to do. I'm so tired, my mind is set on you. I wonder, should I call you, but I know what you would do. You'd say, it couldn't be wrong and it's no joke. It's doing me harm, you know I can't sleep. I guess I'm afraid, you know it's 3 weeks. I'm going insane, you know I give you everything I've got for a little piece of mind. I'm tired! So tired! You say it couldn't be wrong and it's no joke. It's doing me harm, you know I can't sleep. I guess I'm afraid, you know it's 3 weeks. I'm going insane, you know I give you everything I've got for a little piece of mind. I'm so tired, I'm feeling so upset. Although I'm so tired, I'll have another cigarette. Ah, curse, Sir Walter Raleigh, you were such a stupid cat. You say it couldn't be wrong and it's no joke. It's doing me harm, you know I can't sleep. I can't stop the brain, you know it's 3 weeks. I'm going insane, you know I give you everything I've got for a little piece of
Yeah, well, you were trying to, basically give a lot of the older stuff that we liked, from Beatles and the Stones and other artists, and even Cat Stevens. We did Wild World even, and I really liked that Wild World remake that we did, and just like I said, we were just trying to get this to basically flip it into a new format, or at least an updated format that people would latch on to.
I was again searching for something new. Let's try making a movie on videotape. And I buy a typewriter and a video camera. I mean, why not? It's 1984. Watching you, watching me.
Hot dogs with buns, I'm the best hot dog maker there is.
You believe those guys? I don't believe it. When you go camping, you get blisters on your feet. When you make your dinner, You get melted plastic on your hot dogs? If you do, come along with me, Buzz Caribou, and I'll show you the manly art of camping. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Finding food in the outdoors is very important to your survival. When you're in the outdoors, you need to know what to look for and where to look for it. Let's look around our campsite to see what we can find. Here we go. Pine cones. Very delicious, highly nutritious. But by themselves, they're not enough. Let's look around the rest of the campsite and see what else we can find for dinner. Let's look under here. What happens here? Roast chicken. Knowing where to look for your dinner in the great outdoors is very important. Delicious. You know, you can find anything you need in the woods. Just have to look for it.
Yo, man, you want some smoke, man? You want some coke, man? Yo, how about some mescaline? You want some mescaline, man? Anything you want, I got it, man. Right here, right now. You just give me the money right now. I go down, see the man, and we get you fix you right up, man. Fix you right up, right here. Want to poke some of this here, man? Straighten the pine right out in you, man. Straighten the pine right out.
I finally meet the woman who transforms me from someone who was perfectly content staying up until 2 a.m. and sleeping until 2 in the afternoon to a functioning human fit for the working world. She is Elizabeth, or as she refers to herself as Esmeralda. With her, I find that responsibility is the key to my journey. I'd gotten far off my path during those 2 years drifting to the bottom. She said things had better change if we were to be a couple, and through the power of love and understanding, my mountain of past debts were paid off. My health issues that I had kept in blissful denial began to slowly be addressed. And I learned how to get up and go to work every day, finding joy in things like mowing the lawn or shoveling snow. We both enjoyed the fruits of our labor, and in 1989 we were married. Well, I hadn't really changed that much. It was that my responsibilities had made themselves more evident. Yes, responsibility is my karmic path. Yet I was failing to realize that this was the path I was traveling on, but I just didn't see it that way. I seemed compelled to always carve out my own way, even if my attempts turned out to be badly or truly sophomoric. At least in the end, it would be my own lessons learned. This would also make good use out of idle hands. Elizabeth had purchased a 140-year-old house a year and a half before we met. Both her father and brother were contractors, and we started remodeling the house that was built in 1847. I even tried to be an everyday suburbanite by swearing to grow a thick, lush lawn. You know, the medal of middle-class success. But the watering, the fertilizing, and the fact that I had to cut it more often made Elizabeth and I decide that the green lawn was a fool's game. The older you get, you find yourself working harder for your money. This made me start to take notice of the way the country was becoming a surreal place to live. And by the early 1990s, I found that watching C-SPAN made me nearly insane. Commentators interviewing political hacks who spewed lame answers to ignorant questions, while the same problems only became decades worse. It made my blood boil. I was still believing in the virtues that Mrs. Schulman had taught me. I would yell at the television as if something as silly as anger would actually change something. And in 1993, I started to attend our municipal council meetings twice a month and found myself even more intrigued on how we found ourselves slowly losing grasp of our free society. One night, a fellow political gadfly asked the council about maintaining a bulletin board for the towns to use on the cable company's access channel. Now this intrigued me. I asked Jack Tauber about the details on his idea that maybe I could help out. Tauber says, "You don't need me, just give him a call." So the next day I called TCI and spoke with someone who asked, "Do you want information about the bulletin board, or do you want your own public access television show?" Well, that's when it hit me. We could produce our own show and program and talk about subjects with people who shared similar ideas and interests. I had to find 10 people to serve as camera operators, director, audio, and other technical people. I wanted to call the show The Oaklander. This was because I was starting to feel rooted in my community. I knew this town as a Boy Scout at the end of Route 208, going camping up near Greenwood Lake, a place called Oakland, the place I had come to call home. Ik bin ein Oaklander, to parry the John Kennedy phrase from Berlin in June 1963. I found that even though our hometown was celebrating 300 years since its founding in 1695, volunteering seemed to be a hard thing to do. I put my name on the rosters, but no one ever seemed to call. It may have been my body language attending those council meetings that led them to view me as someone they could not or would not be able to harness.
I will never forget the day that we were in front of the board at the library. Do you remember that? And we were trying to arrange some time at the library to do a shoot. And so there they are sitting behind that table, and you and I are standing there, and we're trying to explain to them what it is we're trying to do on our show. And I think one of the people basically said, "Why are you doing this?" And we just howled. We just laughed because they had no idea. They had no clue. I mean, it didn't matter what we said to them. They were dead set on, if you're not going to follow exactly the rules of this township, we're not really interested.
In early summer of 1994, my open letter to our local free paper seeking these creative positions made the streets. The interesting pair of Chris Breetveld and Greg Schuss were the two glaring personalities who would eventually reopen my musical door.
Right, so when I saw the letter for OKTV and looking for people to volunteer for that, my first thought was, what is this crazy guy up to? I have no idea. It must have been a very dull and boring day, I guess, when I ended up reading the local paper. But I figured, well, what the heck? Let's see what it's all about, and let me see how crazy this guy really is. Because if this is an opportunity to do something on television, well, then I'm all in. I've just thought it would be such a great opportunity.
So Al, did you hear who got elected Torturer of the Month?
No, who?
They elected Bob. Can you imagine Bob? He's Torturer of the Month.
Oh no, not Bob.
Oh, that could be him. He's supposed to be coming by today.
Oh. Uh-oh, it's Bob.
I'm gonna give you guys the brush once and for all. But first, I'm gonna make you talk. Ever see one of these?
Oh, look at that. Oh my God, he's at the home repairs.
Can you sing How Deep Is My Love?
Oh, I don't remember the lyrics.
Tonight you will be twice entertained by this. Once now and once at the end of our show. But first, some visual effects. We have target practice starting immediately.
Oh, this is it, Al. I know it, man. This is it.
Where is the Oakland TV show?
Oh, don't tell him, Al. No matter what, man.
You'll never break me.
Now you better talk.
No way.
talk.
No way.
Well, okay, suppose I dropped it. We talk now?
Okay.
Talk now? Okay.
Sure.
Works for me. Works for me.
We'll be right back. This camera then recording black. You cannot see me. I am invisible right now.
So how did we make things that were just available on hand and really make these things work on our show? You know, Al, I really think you really have to have a very artistic bent. You really have to be open to using, again, whatever you have on hand and trying to make something fun out of it, trying to make something artistic. And, you know, again, as an example, when we used Frosty. So this was a plastic snowman that, don't forget, we made him run for mayor in our town. I stuck him in the back seat of my car. We drove him around town and kind of like the Blues Brothers, like, vote for Frosty for mayor. And it was amazing that people actually responded to that. And I believe he even got votes in that election.
Shuss, an Oakland resident, introduced Breetveld to me as his old teenage bandmate from the 1970s, who is currently producing a radio program called The Broadway Hour in New York City.
Well, first of all, let's get one thing straight. Breetveld is never a good fit. Second of all, you know, I was looking for music that we could use on the show that we didn't have to get the rights to, right? So usually you have to pay some kind of fee if you're going to use someone else's music. Chris's, I know we could use easily, and I loved his music, so it just made sense to kind of bring Chris into the fold. And not only that, he's kind of a funny, witty guy, and if you do pull him in front of the camera, he can actually be quite entertaining at times.
Well, Greg and I always had a way of needing help with each other's caper, whatever that was. And he called me up and says, "Get over here. We're gonna do this TV thing." I went, "All right, okay." And that was it. It was some new project for us to do. I'm sorry, I'm squirming.
Chris was perfect behind the sound mixer. Chris had been singing, writing songs, playing drums and guitar, bass, keyboards since he was 8 years old in Kendall Park, New Jersey.
So first of all, he's a very talented musician. This guy can pick up any instrument and play it, which is amazing. He has a terrific ear, so he can basically compose using all kinds of influences from all different genres, and which is just amazing. But more than that, he's one of the most aggravating people I've ever met in my life.
Chris was one of the influential people who made my re-entrance to performing subtle and natural.
Well, all these little steps in your career arc, you never know where it's gonna go or come from. And I think people waste a lot of time thinking, well, I'm going to do this and then do that, and then I'm going to play the Palladium and be, high heel shit and really posh. But I think you do the best you can. Do the best you can. If you're not a signed recording artist and you have a 4-track recorder, or can borrow one from Hal or Tom Rioch, and you just do what you have to do, and don't worry about well, is this gonna make me famous? Is this gonna get me signed?
Together, Chris and Greg were a very creative team. Now armed with video cameras and sophisticated editing equipment, they were on a roll. Their first music video, Planning My Weekend in February '95, was followed by White Dove Plains in April. And then the song Fart rekindled my crude imagination with Access TV from 1984.
Happy birthday!
Little bombs in a wreck, a burnout at both candles. Perfect, what does suspect? It's more than he can handle. Now he's headed for a breakdown. Conjure the warmth of flames, feeling lonely. Conjure the warmth of flames. You can revive it, take the time. Conjure the warmth of flames. Conjure the warmth of flames. Little bombs in a wreck. He totaled his Mercedes, his arm permanently set to play an open E string. Now he could have had a breakdown. Conjure the warmth of flames, feeling lonely.
I did not live up parts north. I really never saw it on my TV. I saw it occasionally at your house or maybe Greg's house. But I always thought it was cool. I said, "Hey, that's us up there." You know, it felt, it felt like one of the Great White North skits, maybe. You know, it had a real tongue-in-cheek feel to it. You know, with tip of the hats to all the founding fathers of TV. You go out there and just wing it sometimes and come up with a show. You don't always hit on target, but the guy you hit when you missed, he'll remember it for sure.
He's not an old boy, he just isn't old. It's how the song starts. Hello, it's 95. I'll have my food, but up till then I might be rude to my old friend. Goodness knows where time all goes, keeping up with your old clothes. He's not an old fart, he just isn't old. Now he's just playing a part. Oh no, it's 98. Oh, the country's run by Microsoft. They intrude as you doze off. Better to pay in cash, my friend, so they can track you as you spend.
Al, if my songs are playing in your head right now, you should see a doctor. Hopefully, preferably a cheap one. Don't spend a lot, spend a little.
Whatever original music I had locked away was now being dusted off and resurrected for music videos. Breaking My Heart was first. Brian Wood and I wrote this song in 1982. I talked my friends into acting rather silly with me for the video. Yes, it was crude, and I was having fun learning how to use the entire production process. And in 1996, I invited Sal Riggi to come up to the Oakland studio where we would lip sync another video version of the home recordings of Hollywood Election Day and Tried to Reach You. Later that night, some crew members began asking Sal how long he rehearsed his solos so they looked as if he was really playing them on camera. You know, note for note. Now remember, these songs were 14 years old, and Sal just replied, "I listened to the cassette in the car on the way up to the studio."
Sal had a big ego, you know. Had to give Sal that much. One time, good Sal story. I had found one of his picks, and this is when we were younger too, and I sort of idolized Sal like a lot of people did, you know. And I said, "Sal, I found one of your guitar picks," and he just very nonchalantly said, "Bronze it."
I also asked Sal to write and record the guitar themes and solo parts for my parody satire Leave It to Breedle.
And many times I asked Sal to show me stuff, and he would never show me anything. He would never show you, you know, like, just ask him, you know, just like, Sal, can you show me this stuff? Like, I remember Life in the Fast Lane. And I said, you know, I just can't figure this out.
During the Oaklanders' 5-year run, we produced over 60 one-hour programs. Musicians like Lou Palo, John Paris.
And we were able to entice some really creative artists, some well-known artists as well. So, you know, when we talk about Lou Palo, Roger McGuinn, I mean, Melanie, we had some real talented people come on our show, and Emmett Finley, classical guitarist. And I think, Al, when you get involved with people at that caliber, that it raises your game as well. You know, I look back on that video we did with Emmett Finley in our studio, playing classical guitar, and we, again, remember, we only had 2 cameras that we could use in the TCI studio. And I felt, as the producer of that show and managing some of the camera shoots and everything, that I had to step up my game to make sure that we were accurately capturing a terrific musical performance. And I think you felt the same way too when you got involved with Lou Palo, when we got involved with Roger and Melanie and those folks as well. I mean, you want to put them in the best light possible. And so you do everything in your power to make sure that you're kind of reaching their level and giving them that opportunity. So, you know, for me, it was pure joy. Not only to be able to work with these folks, but to show their talents to the folks of Oakland.
Lou Palo had been on the show, I don't know, 2 or 3 times. And the very first time he came on, at the end of the show, he invites Greg and Al and me out for drinks, you know, and he's regaling us with stories of playing for the Supremes, Frank Sinatra, the Four Seasons, all these great sessions, you know, he's playing guitar on. So, yeah, when he came on to play live, it was always exciting trying to, you know, get the most out of the Oakland equipment.
I'm lonely as I could be. I'm waiting for your company. I'm hoping that you come back to me.
Well, working on the Oaklander is the same as if I was on Johnny Carson show, I would say. And I would treat it the same way. I mean, Johnny Carson, of course, has millions of viewers. The Oaklander has hundreds of thousands of viewers, I presume, whatever they had. But I feel the same way working in a small TV studio, whether it's in Tucson, Arizona. I've done TV shows in El Paso, Texas, which is just a local television stations. And I feel I like to perform the same way I would perform at Carnegie Hall. And I would give them the same support and sometimes even more. I would give them even more because they deserve to get more.
Al Kaiola.
Al, you got a very interesting show here.
Thank you. Pat Denizio.
Mind is filled with thoughts of you. I think about the chase of 2. I search the room, but you're not there. Your perfume lingers everywhere, but it's only a memory of what I loved was going to be. Only a memory.
Les Paulin.
Thank you. Great, thanks. There you go. What does that say, cannon? What does it say? Huh?
He has to have a little second.
Cannon, Les. What, is it a cannon?
Yeah.
Is it? Do you like it?
Yeah.
Is it digital or?
No, it's high 8.
High 8, okay.
I was gonna buy one of the new Sonys, the digital mini cams.
They're darn good.
When love comes back around, circle's end is where it starts. Leaving is the hardest part. But when we listen to our hearts, when love comes back around. If I had a home, I would make your life better. I'd buy you flowers, so please don't cry. If I had a home, I know where I belong, and I know I'll get there before long, and I'll cook spaghetti just for you, and I'll let you stay in my spare room.
Quickly.
Yeah, I had the music down here and I needed some lyrics, so I called this old friend of mine. His name was Al, what was his name, Mark? The TV guy, Al DiGiacomo. And he put the words to it. So
Me and my lady need to rest in the sun. Walk barefoot on the beach to feel the reason. Me and my lady will always get along. Hearing the sounds of a peaceful sea, she sings a lover's song. I know my love is everything, and I know her love is here to stay. I know our love will last forever. Like the waves, she'll never go away. Me and my lady, sweet lady and me. Blue skies and sand is yours, sweet lady and me. Me and my lady could never live without each other's love and company to smile away the clouds. Me and my lady will always get along. Hearing the sounds of a peaceful sea, she sings a love song. I know my love is everything, and I know her love is here to stay. I know our love will last forever. Like the waves, she'll never go away. Me and my lady, sweet lady and me. Blue skies and sand is yours, sweet lady and me.
thank you always for that, Al.
Many local performers were welcome to share their talent on our show. My love and attraction for music was a lot stronger than trying to wake up viewers with my political points of view. Meeting and mingling with the likes of these iconic celebrities made me feel like a kid who gets to eat 2 ice cream cones on one hot summer day.
Okay.
With our special guest. Lou, I want to thank you so much for being in my Goomba here tonight.
It's been a pleasure.
And great. So
Pleasure.
why don't you look into the camera there and introduce who our guests will be.
Oh, all right. Our guest for this evening for the Oaklander, and it's a pleasure, my real big pleasure to introduce 2 great
My
guitar
all-time
players, and they are
favorite guest on
legends.
the Oaklander was Lou Paulo. Lou is the man of 10,000 inversions. He played guitar with some of the best in the business. Lou introduced me to the legendary Les Paul, and in a way encouraged me back to playing guitar.
I understand you play guitar too.
Yes,
Al?
I've been known to break a few strings in my time.
Break a few strings.
Yeah.
Well, you should bring it. We should do it again. We'll come and do a show
Do a
in the
trio.
future.
I
I'm
would,
serious. And maybe you play some. And there's another gentleman I think that plays bass, and another plays guitar in the staff here.
We all play.
Well, let's get all the guitar players here. We'll have some fun.
Well, that's that's
Army.
a wonderful
Yeah.
invitation, and
Really?
Maybe one day we'll take you up on that. Well, you got me nervous there on that one, guys. I invited Lou to play the part of Lucky Stanza in Leave It to Breedle, my satirical parody of the classic Leave It to Beaver.
Last I heard, you sold the business and retired.
My God, Ward Breedle, I haven't seen you in ages, and I understand that since you got a promotion at the office, was the very last time you picked up a guitar.
How'd you know that?
Well, they don't call me Lucky for nothing. In fact, your boys come in here all the time, and they look around, they browse around the shop every time, and then, especially the young one, what's his name? The Badger?
No, he's the Breedle.
Ah, whatever.
Before Les Paul, I was working with a lot of other people like Sammy Davis Jr., Julius LaRosa, the Platters, on and on. I would do a lot of different shows, and I always enjoyed working behind these people. I didn't want to be out there in the spotlight and be the star of the show. I enjoyed backing them up and making them sound better than what they were, or since they were so good, they made me sound good too. Playing with Les all these years and then doing my own gigs, I like bringing up people who have talent, and I like to back them up to the best of my ability and make them sound really great. And I enjoy that so much. I don't try to take the spotlight away from them. I like them to come up and show their talent, and they deserve it, just like a lot of people that don't get breaks. And even myself, when I was young, I never got the break like that. So it's so nice to give these people space. If they're talented, they play guitar, trumpet, sax, whatever they play, and even help them in any way you can.
Lou still plays locally. One night, John Paris was joining Lou at a dinner club, and they invite me up to sing a song with them for the first time. Paris starts playing Strawberry Fields Forever. Lou follows in effortlessly, and I find that I remember every word. Lou gave me advice one night.
When you're out on stage performing in front of an audience, that's more, I say that's better learning that way than sitting home practicing. Because you can practice and practice and practice and play it perfect. Once you get out on stage, it's a different thing. So if you go out into a nightclub, go with a band and play with the band. You make a mistake, so what? The next day you won't make the same mistake, and the next day you make another mistake, and you just keep patching them up, patching them up. You get experience working in front of an audience. Exactly. Oh, that's another thing. Always play with better musicians. And that's how you learn. That's how you learn also. Right. If you can do that, play with better musicians, and you'll learn.
I guess Lou's advice is really paying off these days. quickly running out of material from the past to work from. Luckily, Chris Breetveld has pokers in many fires, and in the winter months of 2000 and 2001, I produced the Duff Davis and the Book Club meets OK TV, a collaboration with one of Chris's side projects. I montaged images from years of my archival tapes and acquired video clips. The music videos Joan Crawford, Breed World, Where the Bomb Goes, Time is Fatal, The Soffit now reside on YouTube.
When the Reaper rings a bell. When the Reaper rings a bell. The gypsies buy the light they try to sell. Where the bomb goes in the sky. Where the bomb goes in the sky. The little people wear a black disguise. This fatal time will kill us all and then some more. Time's a cloudy, cloudy day. In an open casket looms a man born of my mother's womb. Time's a wasting, time is past. Oh, I wish it slowed down. Oh, I wish it slow on down.
So I guess this guy Al, he's a friend of Chris Breetveld. Out of the blue, he sends me videos that he'd made of my songs. So sat down and watch them, and I'm not a control freak, but I like to have veto power over what I do. But I don't have any veto power over this. This is a new experience. It's also an experience where, you know, you as a musician, you're constantly evaluating your own music. How does it sound? When I watch these things, you know, I hear the flaws. You know, I'm asking myself, does my music hold up? Also, in the transfer of the sound, it affects it a bit. Maybe it dampens some things. Some things are loud, some things are not as loud. Anytime you watch video, it's music first, but when you see images with the sound, there's a part of your brain which is paying attention to the images and not the sound. So for most videos, you don't hear the music as well. You don't enjoy the music. You don't get the music the same way you would get it if you were just listening to the music. And that doesn't mean that all videos are bad or that they're not worth anything. It's just a different experience. The music is dampened a bit. And the question is it interesting in itself? And Al's videos, some of the songs, they are interesting. And I give him a lot of credit. It's hard to do what he did. He's by himself, using his own technology, not some Hollywood studio. And he was able to make some pretty good abstract, strange videos, which is kind of my style anyways. And so if you're going to do video for me, that's a good way to go. Some is reminiscent of maybe of 1920s Man Ray kind of experimental films. There's an experimental quality to it. And I really respect that he was able to get a whole bunch of images together from different places and put them together. I might tweak a few things here and there, but it's not like I'm saying for every song, that's got to be different. No, just here and there, just this little tweaking. I don't know if I have any favorites in there. They all seem to work fairly well. I don't have a music career. It never worked for me, but maybe if we'd gotten some Al's videos out there, put them in some places. It's very hard to make it in music. The business of music will kill you. The creative energy that you have, that should be your focus. That should be your good work. But if you don't have the business end of it, you're not going anywhere. I never went anywhere, and what I do now is I make paintings.